Can you remember one bad incident you had when you were drinking? And
They were all bad incidents. And I remember them all. Both of my shins bear scars, you know. I used to call them whiskey bumps, you know. It just, I don't know, coffee tables were just always in the way, and the lights were always out for some reason at the wrong time, you know. So, yeah, I got a bunch of them, you know. I still got scars. I got a scar on my eye right here where a piece of glass, a chunk of glass when I wrecked my Ferrari, because that thing was so intense. I had a chunk of glass go right here and
you have a scar.
didn't even leave a hole. Didn't leave a hole. I had a knot there, and I went to the doctor about it, after I had the crash. Went to the doctor, and he said, "You got a piece of glass there." And so he had to cut the thing and take it out.
Did it go through your eye or did it go
No,
through your
it
skin?
went right there. He said if it had been one, like half an inch over, he said you'd been blind in the eye. You know, it was pedal to the metal with me. I got to tell you right now, I'm not pulling no punches. You know, and I was throwing down hard and heavy like everybody else, but I was at home. You know, and I didn't drink and drive. You know, I was always out at 3 and 4 in the morning with that damn Ferrari. And it's hard
You
driving.
didn't drink and drive?
Oh hell no!
Oh,
have a little, no, have a little smoke and drive.
See, I
not
can
maybe
tell
that.
when you're...
No, I did not drink and drive. You know, a couple times maybe.
Truth be
You know,
known.
sometimes you just can't
What
get
was the
around it.
Well, I'm not going to ask you what was the wildest ride, but can you remember something that you did that was, I don't know, ridiculous or regrettable or...
Nothing I ever did was regrettable. I don't have any regrets. Every decision and thing I've done, you know, when I got in trouble, that was because I was, you know, drinking and drugging, you know, and got myself in a bind, you know. And I don't have any, I'm good with all of that, you know.
You don't have a story you could tell me about it? Something that...
No, they're all the same. You know,
They're all
you can
the
ask any drunk on the street, tell you, and it'll be the same story. Except and most of them have a guitar now too. So,
Can you tell me about T.G. Shepherd?
oh, the Good Shepherd. Yeah.
Because you made me think of that when you said something about him having a guitar. You know, it's like...
Yeah. Well, T.G. and I go back to the '60s. And I remember, yeah, in the late '60s.
Wow.
And he's good friends with Duck Dunn and Steve Cropper and Ewell Rosell and a couple other people.
Who?
That you don't know these people, but that's
Well, I know the...
yeah.
Duck
And but
Steve Cropper.
anyway, I got lost.
T.G. Shepherd.
Yeah. Well, we're having lunch with, as a matter of fact, and Ronnie Capone. I had come back from England, you know. I was always coming home, you know, to see my family, miss, you know, everybody that I knew in Memphis. I don't like Elvis, man. I miss everything about Memphis, you know. And but I'd come back home and wind up seeing Duck, and he said, "Hey, we're going to go out with, you know, Bill Browder and Ewell and Crop, you know, and Ronnie." And I said, "Cool." And so we went out and we had some lunch, you know. And Bill told me that he said, "I'm getting ready to be a big country star." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." He was a
Did
promo
he just
man
decide that, or...
He was a promo man for RCA, all right?
Oh.
A promotions guy. And he just decided, he said, "I'm going to change my name to T.G. Shepherd." Oh, really? I said, "What is that, the German Shepherd?" You know? No, the G, you know?
Sure.
He said, "No, the Good Shepherd." And I'll be damned if I, you know, when I went back in England, it was like a year or two later, he's a huge country star, you know, T.G. Shepherd. And he's a Facebook friend now, but he's still doing his thing. He has his own program, and you know, he interviews all the country stars.
Who else were you around there in Nashville that became, you know, did something with their lives? And
John Prine did, you know, and of course, because when I was in Nashville, all I knew really was songwriters,
right.
you know, and musicians. Well, some of the players, they're all like, you know, working with Joe Bonamassa and you know, really hot players, you know.
John Prine, you knew him when he was a postman, or
No, I knew him
the-
after when he first came to Nashville. He had a little cabin on what is it, Old Severn or something. It goes out toward Loveless Cafe. I've showed that to you before. I
Yeah.
pointed that out. And he lived out there for a while, you know, and just kind of making his way into town. He told me about being a postman. We became good friends, and forever, you know.
Well, you wrote some songs together.
Yeah, Slow Boat to China.
The Christmas song. That you
Oh
guys
yeah,
did.
Silent Night all day long. Yeah, it's a fun song. But he wrote these story songs. There's one it's called "The Oldest Baby in the World." Just kill me. And you've seen this girl. He told me he's looked on front of National Enquirer, and it's like this oldest baby, and he said she's got the mind of a child and a body peeking over the hill. She would if she could, and she should, but nobody will. With her nails painted red and her hair so unnaturally curled, I guess she just may be the oldest baby in the world. It said, fast horses win races, royal flushes beat aces, and everyone's playing for keeps. So let's go for a ride and rock that old baby to sleep. Isn't that a beautiful song?
That's lovely. Yeah.
But he just wrote some of the most story songs, you know.
Yeah, he had. a
Told
way.
lovely stories. When we wrote Slow Boat to China, I was leaving the house one day, as usual. We won't even get into it anymore. But,
Death
yeah.
threats.
I called John and I said, I've got this idea. I said, just imagine if you were stuck on a slow boat to China with somebody that you hated, you know, and that hated you, you know. And I said, it's called Slow Boat to China. And he said, did you ever hear the something? There's a famous. I'd like to get you on a slow boat to China. I said, no, this one just came just in the last 15 seconds. You know? So I went on over to his house, and we wrote Slow Boat to China. It was a lot of fun, you know. I enjoyed it. See, I'd never written with anybody but Eric Clapton. Never. I always wrote by myself, you know, Dreams of a Hobo and, you know, these things like that. I always wrote by myself. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Thorn
I
Tree.
just did my own thing, you know. And when Eric and it came real natural for he and I. But I'd never written with anybody other than him. And then Philip introduced me to Roger Cook, who wrote, along with Roger Greenaway, Teach the World to Sing, Long Cool Woman in the Black Dress, You Got Your Troubles, I Got Mine, Here Comes That Rainy Day Feeling Again. You know, probably 100 worldwide hits, you know. And Roger and I don't know, we hit it off. We wrote a bunch of songs. You've written some songs with Roger and me as well when we were in Nashville. So, I mean, the people that I've always surrounded myself with better at it than me. See, I didn't know how to write a song. I just knew I could.
Jack Tempchin. You and
Jack Tempchin, yeah.
Written some great
He
songs.
wrote Peaceful Easy Feeling. He's my buddy for a lot of years. You know, so I just looked him up one time when I went out to Nashville. And
Yeah, we had talked about that.
yeah, I remember it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's very sad to have lost John Prine. So
Yeah, yeah. Didn't leave, he left behind a legacy. That's for sure. You know, from get go to there. You know, he was a fine man. I'm proud to call him my good friend. You know, for the times that we were together.